1970, we sure we did before fruit. Knowledge for selfish, for sure we did do the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Work hard and we shine, commitment, dedication. Neurosurgery, comedy, music, Nollywood. SOTK, Dr. Call, MC Casino. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Great Uniben, great Uniben, great Uniben. Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of the Uniben Alumni Series. As you know, this is a show where we celebrate distinguished alumni of the great University of Benin, and where we provide a platform where they share their Uniben story. And on today's episode, we have a distinguished alumnus with us today. Is Dr. Philip Orumwense. Dr. Philip Orumwense is the Commercial Director and Chief Procurement Officer Technology, Crown Commercial Services. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and Public Administration. This is what he earned over about 37 years ago, precisely 1987. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Delighted to be here.
Thank you, sir. Let's go straight into it, sir. You studied political science and public administration from our university, the University of Benin. What influenced your choice of political science?
Really interesting. As a student growing up in Benin, I was really keen on government. Really keen. I did a subject at my GCE WAEC examination called government. And I was taken by it. I was really curious about how society works, how the state is run. I was keen on the subject matter of politics itself. So that keenness really drove me into trying to understand precisely how I locate myself in understanding the science of government. And that curiosity got me into applying to go to the University of Benin to do political science.
Oh, okay, interesting. You came into the institution in 1983, if I'm correct. Yes. How was the university like then? Because that was just about 13 years after the institution was established in 1970. And also, you ventured into other things, into student politics. You were departmental president. You were SUG. I think the deputy speaker of the parliament. And also, you also worked as a clerical assistant. Was that while you were studying and all that? So how was university life was for you?
No, great question. I really enjoyed my time at University of Benin. Before attending University of Benin, I worked at the Vice Chancellor's Office, Academic Planning Division, as a clerical assistant. I was, collecting data, statistics on how the university functions, policy making, creating strategies for developing new curriculum for the university. It was an exciting time for me. As a young, student just finishing my secondary school, I took on that role. From then on, I got admission to go and do political science at the University of Benin. 1983 through to 1987 were an absolute blast. It was a pioneering period for myself and my colleagues. We had fun. We had bag loads of fun. There used to be a dictum that people used to say, don't just go through the university, let the university go through you.
Yeah.
I tell you, the university went through us, right?
Yeah.
We were active in politics. We were absolutely holding not just the university leadership to account, but also the state government, the national government as well. So little things that you wouldn't think was worth, provoking students, we will get provoked. We will close down the whole of that Susilu Bowo Road You
Yeah.
know, we will cut all the trees down. We will stop anyone from coming to the university. It was fun. It was absolute fun. You know, at the same time, um, we also had great academic, staff, academic tutorship, people who knew their onions, people who knew their stuff, people who really wanted to take us through our paces. You know, it was with great trepidation that we went to class, especially those of us that studied political science. You go to class and you haven't done your revision, you are going to be made to stand up throughout that lesson. And no one wants to be shamed that you don't know the answer that the lecturer is going to ask you. So
Yeah.
we had fun. And it
Yeah.
was also, it was, so go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, please. I just wanted to chip this in. I think it was during that period, late Professor Grace, now late, God bless her memory. Yeah, Alele Williams came into the institution, I think in 1985, and till today she is being termed as one of the greatest vice chancellors of any Nigerian university. How was that period like for you as a young adult under the leadership of Grace Alele Williams as the vice chancellor then?
It was quite transformational. And it takes a village to raise a child, right? It wasn't just down to Alele Williams. We had some great professors. We had Professor Sam Egite Oyuari, who was the head of department. Oyuari became Minister for Communications in Nigeria. He contested the governorship for Delta State. He was the first head of he had a lot of interesting roles in Nigeria. Now, when you talk about academicians, he was a cutthroat academician. Not just him. We had Dr. Ronsaye, we had Professor, um, we had lots of good teachers who really took us through our paces. So during that time also, um, it was fun to go to university. It was absolute fun. Um, we got fed. You buy your meal ticket for 50p, and you're giving a three-course dinner. And um, yeah, we lacked nothing. You know, I look back now with great fun. Most of my best time was the time I spent at Uniben. Made great friendships. That still endures till today,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
the academic rigor also ensured that nothing I was going to go on to face in my life. Since leaving Uniben, I've gone on to acquire about 4 or 5 other degrees. None of them compares to the process that I went through at the University of Benin. So I think we should give great testament to that era of academic tutelage in Nigeria, that students were students and teachers were teachers, and teachers knew what they had to do. And any teacher that came to class that didn't come prepared to teach, they were in trouble because the students knew what they were expecting to be taught. We had read up and swatted on all of the things that the teacher was going to teach. So the teacher turns up, and if he start, messing around, they would hold him to ransom to say, "Sorry, you don't know what you're talking about." And a lot of teachers fell victim to that. So that tells you the pedigree of the time that period was when some of us went through the University of Benin.
yeah. Thank you. Outside your certification, what are those attributes you took from the institution that you still hold on to today and you look back and say, "Oh, I learned this from the institution"? What are those things?
First and foremost is egalitarianism. We were taught that we have to show fairness, equity, equality of treatment to everyone, and
Yeah,
that the state had to ensure that states assets were evenly distributed throughout the economy in such a way that everyone benefits from having a stake in the state. So that was one thing that Uniben taught me. Uniben also taught me to be fearless. As a student union leader, I could go to the Commissioner for Education's office and ask him to come and speak at my event at the University of Benin, and they would turn up, right? So those were some of the principles that we were taught, to be fearless, to be able to hold people to account for what's expected of them. We also taught how to be resilient. A number of us that went through the University of Benin at the time have gone on to achieve greater things in life because of our resilience. But most and foremost, though, it was commitment to learning, the rigor of learning, understanding that you have to prepare your mind and your state. You have to prepare to be taught and to listen and to imbibe some of those things that are being taught to you. I think that virtue alone has ensured that whatever examination that I've gone on to do were easy. They were easy peasy for me to take on because of the process that I went through in Uniben. Because you had to learn. You have to be able to write your essay in a way that is expected of you, right? There was nothing such as AI or Chat GPT or one of these things that they now have these days.
Yeah.
They weren't multiple choice questions either. You have to critically analyze, subjects that are given to you.
Hard copy books.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about post Uniben era. You went ahead to study law, which you later abandoned at Unilag. What influenced your interest to study law initially?
So it was just a fad. As a young man, I was going through various processes. I was working at the time, and I just took an interest in taking on additional activities on myself. So I registered to go to the Akoka campus to do a law degree. 3 quarters of the way through that program, I had a scholarship. It was a choice. Do I finish this program or do I go overseas?
Yeah.
I was honestly, I sat in class and I said to one of my best friends, I said, look, they want me to go to the UK to go and study for a master's degree. And he said to me, Philip, what's wrong with you? You're asking me whether or not you should stay here or go? If I were you, I would leave right now. And I said, well, so we had that conversation. And that's why I left the program and I came to the UK to do a master's degree in political behavior at the University of Essex.
Okay. Is there any point that you have any bit of regret not completing that program, the law degree?
Do I have any regrets? No. Do I have any regret leaving Nigeria to come to the UK? Yes. It's a question that I toy with a lot with people that know me to say, what did I come to the UK for? Why am I here? Why didn't I just take it out to Nigeria? Why did I continue with my program? Because at the time, there were a lot of things happening for me whilst I was there. I had done my National Youth Service Corps. I started with Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. At my graduation ceremony, Professor Uwari and what's his name now? The former Chief of General Staff, IHOMO. And Babangida, they were at my graduation ceremony. And because I had I think it was about 3 academic distinctions, I had the best degree student in the Faculty of Social Science, I had the best final year degree student, and I had Chief Odua Memorial. They called me up several times to come and collect my certificates.
Yeah.
So I was given a card by Professor Uwari to come and see him at Dodan Barracks. So I went to see him. And I was going in and out of Dodan Barracks, running errands for the prof and the rest of it. So that was good. I didn't really have any reason to leave. So I look back on those times and I look at the people who are running Nigeria and I think, if I had stayed, I probably would have been one of them. I probably would have become corrupted like one. But there you go.
Okay. Let's talk about your time with Siemens. You work with Siemens, different areas of Siemens, the business, the automobile, for about 7 years before joining public service in 2005. You were having it good with Siemens, but what influenced that move to join the public service?
So my time was at Siemens was an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Siemens took me all over the world. I went to every country they can even think of: Canada, US, Brazil, Mexico, South Africa, all over Europe. It was great, right? It was pioneering. And it also gave me a taste of industry. I started with them with Siemens Automotive. I went on to work for Siemens Business Services, and I went on to work for Siemens Financial Services, and then on to Siemens Transportation Systems, buying trains and building railways and doing all sorts of things. So it was great times. It taught me a lot of great learning. But I got to the highest position that I could get to within Siemens. And at the time, a few of my sponsors, few of my CEOs that I'd worked with had joined the civil service. And they started selling the joy, the beauty of giving back to society, of doing something for the goodness of people to me. And that was the lure, that was the attraction. I was sold. How do I give something back to society? So I left Siemens to join central government at the time, working for DWP as Director of Commercial Strategy.
Okay.
And I haven't looked back since then. I haven't looked back since then.
That was leading me to the next question. How fulfilled are you working in the public service now? You work with Crown Commercial Services, which is the biggest public procurement organization in the United Kingdom right now. How fulfilling it is for you?
So the joy of working in central government is unrivaled, because I am not a politician, but I do have access to policy making. I can influence some of the key decisions that are made in our country. I can contribute to the way our country is governed. I can provide through my commercial activity enough financial sustenance that can help buy maybe an ambulance, build a hospital, build some roads, pay for some teachers. For me, that is just a great thing of joy to be able to make that level of contribution. So what I do is, I'm at the Crown Commercial Service. I run the technology category group. Within my group, we are responsible for £15 billion of expenditure for the UK government, buying all aspects of government technology. That brings you into negotiating with some of the big and large global organizations, Microsoft, the Googles, the HP, and the Amazons, the AWS, and so on and so forth of this world. It also gives you an insight into leveraging innovation to how government is run. But in doing that, you're also incentivized to ensure that you optimize the cost of accessing those services and those solutions. It's gratifying to be able to do something for society.
You talked earlier about regret leaving Nigeria because you look at the polity today, the political environment in our country is not something that we are not entirely proud of the actors, how they act and all that, because we know that we should be doing better than where we are today. Don't you think you as an expert in public procurement and public service, don't you think you still have a role to play in our country?
Do I have a role to play? I doubt it, because I think change has to come from within. There are people there who have the same ethics, the same ethos, the same affinity that I have, who can make a contribution and ensure that we hold leaders of the Nigerian state to account. So I've seen a number of colleagues that I know that have gone from here to be part of that system and become corrupted by the system.
Okay.
So for me, I think it's important that we look to the people who are there to generate that change, that transformation, that will be perhaps much more impactful and persist over time than for those of us who have been away from the system to try and impose some foreign ideology on the people who are there. So I kind of have a different attitude towards diaspora Nigerians, thinking that they have the solution to the Nigerian problem. I don't belong to that school at all. I think change has to come from within, and therefore we should encourage, motivate, incentivize, and perhaps support those people who are there to begin to sow those little seeds that will germinate over time and perhaps lead to a broader transformation of the Nigerian state.
Okay. Lastly, sir, in 2020, the world was battling because lockdown and because of the COVID-19. Well, it was not totally a dark time for you, especially because you were conferred the Order of the Commander of the British Empire, the CBE, in 2020. Tell us how you felt when, first off, when you received the notification that you are going to be awarded the CBE, and subsequently when you went to receive this award. How was it like for you?
So this is not something you expect for a young man born and brought up in Nigeria. In fact, born and brought up in Benin, never been anywhere. My parents had never been anywhere, to be taken from that community and brought into the UK, and then to over time acknowledged for my contribution to the British state. It was quite mind-blowing. I was just working away when an email popped up on my computer to say, Her Majesty the Queen would like to crave your indulgence, to ask my permission. Who am I for the Queen to be asking for permission, to grant me the order of the Commander of the British Empire? Honestly, I really I thought it was a hoax. I thought it was a joke. I thought someone's playing a prank on me. I read it and I read it and I read it. And the letter says, do not discuss this with anyone. Do not tell anyone about it. To contain that excitement was just mind-blowing. So immediately I kind of rang number 10, the cabinet office, and I said, is this true? And they said, who are you? And identified who I was. They said, yes. That was when it signed that this is true. So it was quite humbling, to be so recognized by the country that I live in, that I work in, and I've become a citizen of. To be given such high honor, it wasn't just one of those OBEs or MBs, or it was one of the highest honors of state. So I think it was gratifying. And going with my wife, to Windsor Castle for the investiture was again another triumph, where we were treated like royalty for the day. It was Princess Anne that did the investiture ceremony. It was great. It was grand. It was good to be able to share the occasion with my wife and celebrate together, because she stood solidly behind me in all of my in all of my travels. And the honor wasn't just for me. It was in fact, it was for the entire community. It was for the entire Benin Nigerian community here. So I feel gratified to be so honored, and we bless God for His grace and infinite mercy for continuing to provide those open doors and channels of blessings to me and to so many of us who have sojourned into this nation.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Philip Orumwense. It's so great speaking to you. Thank you for creating time from a very busy schedule to be part of this show today. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all that you do in providing a platform for Uniben alumni to be able to showcase what it is they do, what they've done, and perhaps their time spent at the University of Benin.
Yeah.
No, thank you, and continue to do the good work that you do.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it. Thank you. We'll be speaking to Dr. Philip Orumwense. He's the commander of the British Empire, and he's been telling us about his journey to the University of Benin and post-University of Benin. Continue to subscribe to our channel, bringing more exclusive interview of Uniben alumni. Bye for now.
1970, we sure we did the forefront. Knowledge for service, for sure we did the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law.